What up? It's your boy EJ the Alchemist here, and today we're going to talk about why Spectacular Spider-Man is the greatest Marvel cartoon of all time. Before we get into the video, let me play this theme song right quick. I ain't gonna lie, with a theme song like that, you got no choice but to be a great show. Yeah, but Spectacular Spider-Man, I believe, is the first iteration of Spider-Man. Well, at least in the cartoons, we actually get to see him in high school. Yeah, cause I ain't gonna lie, in the '90s, that nigga was like a senior in college. And that nigga was looking like Brad Pitt in the face. But I feel like Peter being in high school, he just hit different. Like seeing him in the '90s in college, it was cool, but him in high school, it just feels more like Spider-Man. And can we just talk about how Peter was Mr. Bitches in high school for some reason? That nigga had Liz, Mary Jane, Black Cat, and Gwen. This nigga is God. And I like how the show made Peter have a connection with all four of them in different ways. Like, Peter and Gwen are childhood friends, and Mary Jane's the new girl on the block. Liz wasn't really fucking with Peter at first, but, she realized, she started liking him for him and his, how smart he was. And him and Black Cat, they on that superhero tip together, which is kind of cool, I guess. And I really like how they introduce all the villains in the show, because with the villains, they really just stuck with the source material in the comic books. Like how they all became villains is how it pretty much happened in the comic books. Like with Dr. Kirk Connors, he doesn't have an arm, but he is a scientist and he's trying to use the lizard DNA to grow his arm back, because reptiles can grow limbs back. So he does that, and that's how he becomes a lizard, just like the comics. And Doc Ock was working at Oscorp under Norman, and he was working on his, his little tentacle shits, and that's how you got crazy because of the malfunction in the tentacles. So just like the comics, basically, like all of them niggas really just how they are in the comics. Yeah, well, I think they made Sandman like he was in Spider-Man 3, like how he's not necessarily good, but he's not all bad. Like he wants to help people, but he's just doing it in a bad way, if that makes sense. Really, the only villain thing I didn't like that they did is made Kraven Hunter, the Hunter, like this chimera looking thing, like he was like a part leopard or some shit, which I thought was weird, cause I always thought Kraven was cooler because he's just a regular nigga and he boxing Spider-Man. And you obviously got Eddie Brock becoming Venom, off of pure hatred and jealousy for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That's, it's literally a play of the comic. And I also like how Spectacular Spider-Man shows the struggles of Peter Parker being Spider-Man, like how this affects his real life. Like for example, him going to turn into Spider-Man while his friends are in danger, and they think he's just running away, saving his own ass, but really he's actually Spider-Man. But they don't know that, so they looking at him like he a pussy or a bitch or a coward, because he's not there to help. Or him not just being there in general, just not being there for prom or dances, or when consoling a friend. Like he's not there because he's too busy being Spider-Man protecting the city. And I just really like that about the show. Like they highlight every part of his life, of how hard it is having two identities and being a superhero. Oh, I forgot to talk about this earlier, but Black Cat and Spider-Man in this one episode, they had to break out her dad, her father. And everybody knows Peter's uncle, Uncle Ben, got shot by somebody, but Peter didn't know who it was. Well, he didn't know his name. So when they finally broke her dad out of prison, when they was getting to her dad, it turns out her dad is the one who shot Uncle Ben. So instead of helping Black Cat's father get out, he just left him there because he cannot. That was so crap. He cannot stomach that man. He hates that man with every fiber in his being. It's just a little shit like that connects everybody together that makes the show so great. And let me tell you how this show does such a great job of introducing Green Goblin. Harry Osborn is the son of Norman Osborn, which is usually the Green Goblin in every Spider-Man TV show, movie, game, anything. So Harry is trying out for the football team, but he's not very athletic. So he goes to Oscorp and gets this little super soldier serum they're working on, or something, like a imitation of the super soldier serum. So he sneaks off with that uses it, goes to the football tryouts, and like dominates. He's fucking fucking Deion Sanders these niggas. Like he's going off on these niggas. But using the green super soldier serum, like it has a side effect of like intense anger and emotional, like just violence. Like it's basically like taking steroids, honestly. He just gets violent. So after he takes that serum a good amount of times, that's the first time we seen Green Goblin and Spider-Man and Green Goblin started fighting, right? Boom, boom, I'm talking about these niggas boxing. And then Spider-Man like catches up to him and like knocks him off his glider into Norman Osborn's apartment, right? And he goes to him, unmasks him. Turns out it's Harry the whole time. Well, like we weren't surprised, but it just felt too anticlimactic. So after that, they sent Harry to go get help, and we thought that shit was over. Okay, no more Green Goblin, right? So Harry come back to school, but when Harry come back, the Green Goblin come back. So everybody thinks it's Harry still, but Green Goblin attached to school, but Harry's like right with Peter and shit. So it can't be Harry. So that leads Peter Parker to think, oh, it's Norman, because all things connect back to Norman. But no, Green Goblin kidnaps Norman, so Peter don't know who the fuck it is. And then one day, like on the series finale of the show, they start fighting. And it turns out it's been Norman this whole time. It's literally been Norman. He planned everything out from the beginning. He let Harry take that shit. He let him take all that serum so the blame wouldn't be on him. And he hired a villain named Chameleon, which is like a shapeshifter that could shapeshift into anybody, to pose as him while he was Green Goblin the whole time. Like, this show surprised me with something I've known my whole life. Like, I've been knew here Norman Osborn was Green Goblin. Like, everybody knows Norman Osborn is Green Goblin. But the fact that they fooled me that bad, and I was genuinely surprised when Norman was Green Goblin, like, that shit was crazy. Like, them niggas real life had me feeling dumb, like on my 6ix9ine tip. And all of the side characters are great as well. Like J. Jonah Jameson, still hilarious. Aunt May, still sweet and pure. Flash, still annoying as fuck. Oh my god, and how can I forget about Tombstone? That nigga Tombstone literally bitched on this nigga Spider-Man. Now, I ain't gonna lie, when I seen that for the first time, I died laughing. That shit was embarrassing. And throughout the show, Tombstone mentioned this guy named the Big Man, which I can clearly assume is Kingpin from all the other iterations of, you know, him being called the Big Man and Tombstone being his underling in most of all Spider-Man shit. But the show got canceled before Kingpin was even introduced. Oh my god, that would have been so fun seeing Kingpin in Spectacular Spider-Man. And the Spider-Man costume in this show was immaculate. This is the best Spider-Man costume I have ever seen in any show or any cartoon ever. And I like how they made Spider-Man this smaller, like a smaller guy. Like, unlike the 90s where that nigga was ripped as fuck, 6'3", 250 pounds. That nigga built like... Hey man, if you haven't seen Spectacular Spider-Man, I encourage you to do so. This shit is amazing. And hey, that's all I got for y'all. This has been your boy EJ the Alchemist. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. And before I go, let me just leave this gem Green Goblin drop.
I know whose face is behind that mask.
We all wear masks, Spider-Man. But which one is real? The one that hides your face, or the one that is your face?